Okay, in this video we're also going to try to find the equation of a line, except we have to do a little more detective work. We're not just given the slope. But we are given 2 points, so just like before, we want the slope and the y-intercept. Let's start with the slope. So again, the slope, one way to calculate is just to do the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if we follow this and call this one 0.2 and this one 0.1, y2 is 3 minus 9 is y1 over 1 minus 4. So 3 minus 9 is negative 6. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So this gives me a slope of 2. Alright, so far I got my slope of 2. So now my equation is y equals 2x plus b. Now I got to find the y-intercept. So I pick either point, doesn't really matter which, and I'm going to plug in those numbers. So maybe 1 and 3 will plug in these numbers. So when x equals 1, 2 times 1 plus b, y has to equal 3. The question is, what is b? So I get 3 equals 2 plus b. So I subtract 2 on each side, b equals 1. So that means the equation is y equals 2x plus 1. But I want to confirm that this is correct. So maybe I take my other point and plug these numbers in and see if it works. So if I plug in 4, 2 times 4 plus 1, 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1, I get 9, which again is what I'm supposed to get for this point. And so again, it's all sort of about checking your work. So the final answer to the equation is y equals 2x plus 1 using this idea. Alright, here's another one, same idea. Let's find the slope first. So we can say slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is negative 1 minus negative 3 over negative 9 minus negative 5. So negative 1 minus negative 3 is the same as negative 1 plus 3, so it's really 2. Negative 1 plus 3. And negative 9 minus negative 5 is negative 9 plus 5, so it's negative 4. So 2 over negative 4 is negative 1/2. Alright, so I got my slope. So I know it's y equals negative 1/2 x plus b, whatever b happens to be. Now I'm going to pick some points. So let's take this first point, let's say, and plug that in. So I get, when I plug in negative 5 for x, so negative 1/2 times negative 5, I need to get negative 3 for y. So here's my setup. So negative 3 equals negative 5 times negative 1/2 is going to be 5/2 plus b. So I know I'm going to have to subtract 5/2. Before I do, I want to convert negative 3 into halves. So I say, okay, there's 2 halves in every 1, so this would be negative 6/2 if we figured it out, equals 5/2 plus b, right? 6 over 2 is 3. So I have to subtract 5/2 from each side. So when I do that, I get negative 11/2 equals b. Right, so now I go back to my original equation. I think it's y equals negative 1/2 x minus 11 over 2. But I'd like to confirm that that's correct, so I'm going to plug in these numbers. I'm going to plug negative 9 in for x, so negative 1/2 times negative 9 minus 11 over 2. So negative 1/2 times negative 9 is going to be 9 over 2. 9 over 2 minus 11 over 2 is going to be negative 2 over 2, or negative 1, which, hey look, it's exactly what I'm supposed to get when I plug negative 9 in for y. So it confirms, it works. This is our equation. So just like the last time, get the slope first. Either you're given the slope, or you have to calculate it, and then plug in a point to find the y-intercept, and then check your work. So similar pattern, just practice, practice, practice until you get the hang of it, until you get consistent answers. So until next time, I am Derek Genova. Have a delightful day.